For me, one of the most important keys when we're talking about vocations and what we're called to do is really being open to what Christ is calling us to do. We talk a lot about our secondary vocation, where we're called to be in our lives, whether that be the priesthood or the married life or consecrated life. But we're also primarily called to holiness. We're called to love God and to love our neighbor with our whole hearts. And we really need to be open to that, to really allow Christ to work in us completely, to give ourselves over so that He can take hold of us and that He can do His work in us and through us. And so when we discern that primary vocation, that we are all called to holiness, then we can see our secondary vocation, and we can look at it in our relationship with Christ. Once we have that relationship where we love Him and He loves us, we can begin to discern how He is calling us to love Him, through whom He's calling us to love Him. So whether that be in the priesthood, if He's calling us to love Him through the church, or married life, if He's calling us to love Him through our spouse, we can look at that and be open to that relationship with Jesus, however He might be calling us to love Him. And no matter which one that we discern is our calling, it all boils down to loving Christ with our whole hearts. And as long as we're doing that, and as long as we're being open to how He's calling us to love Him, we will find our path. We will find our way to heaven and to living with Christ completely.